ALI, Director of Project Islamic Hope. Today in Los Angeles, we have two very important guests who were victims. We have Aaron Salter III, whose father, Aaron Salter Jr., was a retired police lieutenant who was shot and murdered in Buffalo, New York, in the Tops Buffalo shooting. We also have Latisha Rogers, who dialed 911 for help, but was hung up on by the operator and was trapped in the store. We have these two guests who are here today with us to join us in our call for an end to hate crimes, an end to the violence, an end to the racism, an end to the mass shootings. So while we commend Congress and the Senate and President Biden for signing a historic gun law into law last week, that's the first step in gun reform with what we're calling for, but it's not enough. We want more gun control. We want an end to anyone being able to buy an AR-15 rifle, which is the weapon which was used, unfortunately, to murder Aaron's father and killed 10 more people. So with that, I know no one wants to hear from me. We want to hear actually from the victims who are here joining us from Buffalo, New York. So our first speaker will be Aaron Salters III.
I would just like to say that I'm very appreciative to be out here today in LA to talk about what happened that day. I just want to say that I'm appreciative of Errol and everything he's trying to do to get the word out about stopping racism. It's very important because I don't feel anyone should have to feel the pain that I'm going through right now and lose a loved one in that manner. It's just very hard. And what he's doing with these shirts at StopRacismApparel.com is it's showing the youth, showing the kids, because that's where it starts at. Showing the kids that racism is not okay. Showing the kids that we're all the same and that no one's better than the other one just because of the color of their skin. Everyone should respect each other and everyone should treat everyone as they want to be treated. And I'm just very proud to be able to be out here wearing this shirt and spreading the word out there so people can know. And I really appreciate everything that he's doing for my family and all the victims affected.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Latisha Rogers. As I said, Latisha was actually in the grocery store. She dialed 911 for help as the bullets were flying by her. The 911 operator hung up on her. Latisha was unfortunately trapped in the store where 10 people were murdered.
I just want to thank Mr. Errol for inviting us out here, and everything that he's doing is just amazing. Just to experience what I experienced, I wouldn't want nobody to ever go through that feeling. She was going in the store, just looking at her, it was a child there her age, running for her life in there, and just thinking what if she called 911 and the operator hung up on her, would it be the same? Or it's just, yeah, it's really hard to deal with, but I appreciate everybody supporting us all over the world, reaching out, and it's just a shame that we have to live our lives like this because of the color of our skin. We should all just be as one and as a family together. It's one big unity. We need that more in America. Thank you.
Thank you. So our next speaker, as I make my closing comment, it's very important that we be united against racism, against murder, against these mass killings of innocent people all across the nation. As I said, 10 people were murdered and targeted because of the color of their skin. We had 20 children murdered in Texas last month. So this mass killing of innocent people must stop. It stops when we have real gun control, an end to these AR-15 rifles, and the fact anyone can easily buy one and kill innocent people. So I want to next bring up Earl Siegel, a prominent business person for decades in Los Angeles. Not only is he's a business person, he's a philanthropist, a true man of God who wants to help end racism. So we commend him for flying our guests out here from Buffalo. We want to thank Earl for his leadership. And with that, Earl Siegel will talk about his vision, his call for racism. Is Jan Perry, another prominent leader, joins us in this press conference. Jan has a track record of advocacy in this city of LA also. So we're grateful for Jan Perry's continued leadership, former city council person. Okay. Oh, that's okay, Jan, you're up next. But you're no stranger to press conferences. No, just yeah.
Okay, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Nice to meet you. This Bob is very
Okay, so good morning, everybody, and I'm a member of a group called Black Women for Positive Change, and we had actually been on a Zoom conference with some of the family members of people who were viciously taken in Buffalo, and so my heart goes out to all of you, and to Errol, thank you for continuing all of your hard work to bring people together. This is a passion for Errol, and I support him fully in this. I think if we all join forces together and put our energies together, not only to help these wonderful families to heal, move forward, that maybe there's something to be learned from this. I think that there is, that we can prevent this from happening again. And so I just want to say thank you and bless you all for having the courage to stand up here and tell your stories for all of us to share and try to lift you up the best way that we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan Perry, retired councilwoman of the city of LA. Next we'll have Earl Siegel, prominent business person and philanthropist.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming. Just today in the paper, today's paper, hate crimes rise for a third year in a row. Front page. So people need to know we all belong to one race, the human race. Internally, we're 99.9% the same. Skin color has to do with pigmentation. Some people are lighter, some people are darker. But the fact is, all our organs are the same. We all have a brain, heart, liver, lungs, and blood. So many people don't realize this. When they go for a blood transfusion, they don't know if they're putting a Latino's blood in them, getting it, or a black man's blood. No one knows. Organs are the same. Everything's the same. It's almost like 99.9 is like when they say, when you pick up a can of diet soda and it says it's 99.9 caffeine free. You can't say it's 100%. But basically, I could say we're 100% the same. And people to know, just to need to know that we're all the same. And please, we need to respect each other and move forward and stop all these racism, hate crimes, mass shootings. Just on the board here, if you look right here, so far in 2022, there have been over 200 mass shootings. Racism, hate crimes, and shootings. What happened in Buffalo is all the three. Racism, the fellow was anti-black. He hated, and it was a mass shooting. So what we need to do is, here, look, just recently, and if you go on, the board could have been 20 feet long, so we had to stop. And 10 dead, 21 dead, 4 dead, 5 dead, 3, that's not counting the injured. And this is like nonsense, you know? This is 2022. This is not the 1800s. So we need to respect each other moving forward, and let's stop racism. And all I can tell you is stopracismapparel.com has the answer. We need to get the message out. The shirt says it all, so that little kids learn not to hate. When they grow up, they won't be haters. Anyway, thank you again very much.
We'll take questions from the media.
Do we
get the names and spellings of everyone who spoke?
My name's Aaron Salter III, and Aaron. Last name Salter, Salter.
And his father was Aaron Salter Jr. The retired police lieutenant was murdered in the grocery store.
My name's Latisha Rogers, Latisha. Last name Rogers.
Najee Ali, Najee Ali, Li. Jan Perry, Jan. Last name is Perry.
Yes, Earl Siegel, ERROL SEGAL.
Any questions for our guest from Buffalo?
Question for her. I haven't had a chance to hear the phone call or read the transcript, but what made it racist, the operator being up on you?
When I called, it was just the tone that she gave me was very nasty. I was whispering on the phone because the man was still in the store shooting, and I didn't want him to hear me to find me where I was at. And I just whispered to her, gave her the address, and told her the police and help. There's a shooter in the store, and she just was very nasty and says, "Why are you whispering? You don't have to whisper. They can't hear you." And I continued to whisper and said, "Ma'am, he's still in the store shooting. I don't want him to hear me." Out of nervousness, he was coming back to the front. I could still hear him shooting, but I could tell he's coming back to the front of the store. I dropped my phone. She said something. I couldn't hear what she was saying, and the phone hung up. And she didn't. Nobody called me back to 911 at all. So I had to call my boyfriend and tell him to call 911 for me to get some kind of help to the store because I did not think I was gonna make it out of there.
So in this case, would you say that even that case of whatever it's racism or anything like that prevented from you guys getting help probably faster?
Yeah, there was there was a few of us that was in the store. I was calling 911. I'm not sure if we all got the same dispatcher, but some people did get hung up on when they tried to call. But just the whole tone that she gave me, it wasn't like nothing you see on TV or when you hear other 911 calls get played back where they're calm and try to keep you on the phone. I didn't have any of that experience at all from her.
And we do know the 911 dispatcher was fired.
Yes.
She was fired. And that's why it's very important that there be more training for 911 operators as well as law enforcement when they respond to these mass shootings. I can remember hearing on the news where in Texas, the police are in the school yelling for the children. Children yelled for help, and a child got shot because the shooter heard the child, respond to the officers, yells for them. So I'm just saying there needs to be a total overhaul in how operators who are dispatchers as well as law enforcement respond to these shootings. Even here in LA, at the shooting we had a year or two ago, the victims in the store could have been saved had it not been gunfire by the LAPD who responded in a shootout, who are now being sued as they responded to trying to help. But at the end of the day, we need to have better training. Any more questions?
The 911 operator did you say she was white? The one that was fired?
By the tone of her voice, possibly, I believe she was.
Yeah, I don't believe they showed her, released her picture, everything. But at the end of the day, the 911 operator, no matter what color she was, she failed. She failed Latisha and everyone in that store. 10 people were murdered because of her negligence and maybe not contacting the police soon enough. So we have no more questions. We want to thank the media for covering what we believe is a very important story. We want to welcome our guests who are all the way here from Buffalo, joining Earl Siegel as they try to help stop racism and the end to these mass shootings. Thank you.